Hey everybody, we're going to be playing another board game today. This one is called Settlers of Catan. So it's definitely a really awesome game, but before we actually started playing it, we're just setting up the board, and I wanted to make sure that y'all realize how this board works. Every single time you play, the pieces are completely random. So each of these pieces here represents a different type of what's the word I'm looking for, sweetheart? Resource, yeah. So we have, this would be like lumber, and then this would be our stone, and then this is sheep are a resource.
You also have grain.
Yep. Yeah, and then clay or brick is what it actually comes out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle up these cards, and then I'm going to lay them flat like this so I can't see where they are. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, guys, so now I've actually got the board set up with all the pieces, but the actual resources are on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them all over so that you can see the resources. So they were all put down randomly, and I'm just going to flip them all over so that the resources can now be seen. There's going to be one resource here that is just a desert. The desert is where the robber starts off, and we'll explain that a little bit later in the game once we actually get past the setting up phase. Where is that desert? There he is. That's the desert. So no resources are earned at the desert.
Keep in mind, this is what we do. The book, the rule book actually suggests a different way of setting it up, but this adds a element of randomness for us.
The rule book it says you can do it this way too. There's just a couple different ways that, like it says, that you can start with this one in the middle and then do it. That's how they suggest it for beginners, that type of thing. But after that, it says that you can do it however. So that way you have more possibilities. So now these little chips are going to determine the value placed on each of these resources. So on the other side, there are numbers. All right, the numbers range from what, sweetheart? Is it like 2 to
12?
2 to 12. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to place them around the board randomly, and then in a minute we'll flip them all over. All right, guys. So now I have all of the letters on there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them over so that we can see the values of each of the resources. Now, these values here correlate to the dice. When the there we go. When the dice is rolled, and you have 2 dice. So when the dice are rolled, whatever value you have will determine what resources generate that round. So if I rolled 2, and I had a settlement here around this 2, or anybody else did, then that means that we would get this brick. Okay? So they have the most common ones already in red. That way you know, hey, these are the most common. You don't have to actually do the work in your head. Now, you might notice the number 7 is missing. 7 always generates the robber, and I'll go ahead and place him since we've determined where that spot is. This is the robber. If the robber is in a square, that means that item or that resource is not going to generate in that. It's not really a square, it's a hexagon. So if it was here, if right here there was my settlement and I rolled a 3, because the robber's here, I would not get wheat, even though I would normally get wheat if he wasn't there. All right, and so you can see what the little settlements look like. This is what I'm talking about when I say a settlement. These little houses here. Now, the houses can also be turned into cities whenever you get enough resources to build a city. And we also have roads. Again, you have to have resources to build roads. And all of your settlements have to be connected with roads. So that pretty much sums up the setup of the game. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to pick our colors. And then we get to pick our first 2 settlements anywhere on the board. All right, guys, so we just rolled, and I got a 5 and he got a 4, so I get to place my settlements first, or at least my first settlement first. So I'm going to go here because I can get sheep, wood, and the wheat there. And then my road is going to go off in this direction. All right, now Wayne. Sure.
Well, that was a perfect placement because it blocked me from being able to put anything here, here, or here. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I'm going to go for the next best option, which is right here,
Good
which
choice.
is 8 and 8 and 4. And I'm going to more or less just try and build behind her.
All right, so now it's my turn to go ahead and pick my next settlement. And there's still plenty of options out there. I think though, since I don't have any clay and I don't have any, or brick, whatever you want to call it, and I don't have any of the stone, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go here. And I'm gonna come this way.
Okay.
Oh, and because this is my second placement, I'll get my resources for this placement, which means I get 1 of the stone and actually 2 of the brick. So those are the resources that I will start the game with.
Okay, so I've got sheep, I've got wood, I've got brick, I need stone, and I need wheat. So
I see a pretty good placement. Let's see if you can find it.
well, I mean, I could put it over here, right here,
Oh, there.
but I will never connect my roads. And that would kind of give me no reason to get the longest road. So my best option at current is going to be right here.
That's where I saw it. Yep.
And hopefully I can build further on out, but we'll just see what happens. And my road is going to try and go this way, so I get 1, 2, and so one of this.
So you're going to get the sheep, the stone, and the wheat.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is your sheep, stone, and wheat.
Yep.
Well, I ended up winning. I had the longest road, barely, because we actually ended up, he actually ended up tying my road, but since I was the first one to the longest, I still got this card here. And then I also had the largest army. You got these through the development cards there, or the, oh, these are called development cards. So I got the largest army because once you get 3, then you get that. And yeah, so I ended up winning. I had 1 city and 1, 2, 3, 4 towns, or whatever you want to call them.
So it's going to be for the city 2 points.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6 for the towns. 7,
And
8,
these are worth 2.
9,
These.
10.
So it's 10 points to win, and I made it. Now, it was definitely very, like I said, if he would have stole this back from me, by being able to add another road, I would have been 2 points behind again trying to find it. One thing I will say, whenever you're playing this with only 2 players, it takes longer to get your resource cards, because when you have, 4 people playing, by the time that it comes around to you, the dice has been rolled 3 other times. So you're collecting those resources from each of those rolls. So there were times where we would roll and none of us were on that resource. So it was basically just like a broke turn. It just went to the next person, whatever. So that is one thing. Like, we'd really like to play this game with some other folks. That way, you'd be able to get those cards a little bit quicker and add a lot more to the gameplay. It also makes it more difficult as far as placement. Like, it'd be hard to get a road this long in a game with that many people. So anyway, it was a fun game though. And it's one of our favorites.